boys and girls, children of all ages. It is me, Dukect, and I am here live on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me here, and I hope you're hearing me well. Are you hearing? Are you doing the stuff here? Hopefully, you hear me live and clear. If not, well, I'm sorry. You won't worry. You can hear everything I say. Oh, we got a call here. This is, I think, Kara Kennedy. Kira, are you here? Hello? Kira, you can talk. Hello? Are you here? Can you hear me? Kira? I think your microphone's having issues, man. Gosh, I don't know what's happening. All right. Okay. All right. You see, unmute. You're unmuted. Carrie, I think your microphone has some issues with your microphone. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Try to call back and call back in, because I know you probably want to talk about this subject, because right now we're talking about Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff taking over WWE Raw and SmackDown respectively. And, well, there's some, let's see. Yeah, it's, there are, let me just see this. Hopefully everything else. All right. Okay. Looks like everything seems to be okay. Hopefully y'all can hear me, and, situation, that stuff. Looks like everything seems to be fine. All right. But yeah, Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. Now this has been revealed. It was recently. It was like during, I think, Thursday or Friday, this past week, and such as I had to do some personal stuff. It was after the show and everything, and I was probably gonna do a video on it, but again, personal thing happened, so I couldn't really talk anything about this subject. But man, a lot of people have had some issues, positive stuff, negative stuff, and things in between here about Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff, two titans of the industry, two people who have, WCW with Eric Bischoff, Paul Heyman with ECW, changed and did holy crap! Like, oh my goodness, when you think of wrestling, you think of wrestling in the 90s, and you think of that type of oh my gosh, this show and everything else. This was it. That was perfect. That was like, oh my gosh, that was the people have this positive memories here, positive memories of like these grandiose moments of making wrestling was so important during those time periods, making so many stars, so many lasting memories and matches and everything else. These two, including Vince McMahon, you have to give the devil his due. Vince McMahon had his good moments as well. And let's see. And by the way, if you want to call in and all this stuff here, and remember, the number is 605-562-0444. Once again, the number is 605-562-0444. Dylan's like, I have no idea who people are. I know. You're probably here for the later stuff, the Flash stuff, which I will talk later, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get into my thoughts about that because, man, I just recently came in. And, but yeah, that stuff here. And, because trust me, the Flash stuff is, I got some words for that, boys and girls. I got some of that. But, by the way, if you want to call in, if you want to get into the show, the number is 605-562-0444, and the call ID to connect to me, Dukect, is 92417. Let's see if you put that thing there, and the call ID is and there it is. Put that in the chat room as always. If you want to call in, connect to me, Dukect, and if not, you can use the internet phone, the internet and everything. We can just do hook up an internet and everything. That's the hopefully, hopefully everything. That hopefully Kira is getting that situation done. You could easily do that. But if you can't do that, remember chat room right there. I'll read your stuff there. But hey, it's been a really interesting couple of days in the world of pro wrestling and such. And my gosh, and I mean, what else can you say about the world of about wrestling and everything else? And and to be fair, Bischoff will not really take full quote unquote control until after July, after and such. Oh, I think we have Kira. Kira, are you here? Kira, hello. Oh, I know technology, my friends. Live, everyone. But yeah, this is a yes. Damn you, modern technology. I know. But yeah, but it's the one thing I think a lot of people seem to worry about when you look at Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff coming back is that they seem to be, it's oh my gosh, it's just we retreads. Here we go again. Okay, Dylan. You know what? Fine. Well, until we get this, you want to hear me? That famous wrestling line? Okay, I'll try it. Let's get ready to rumble, and hopefully Kara can get his microphone on. But yeah, back to the point of what I was trying to say here is it's ECW, WCW. It seems like okay. Oh wait, I think I hear something. Yeah. Kira, hello. I had a little something. Kira.
And this modern technology. Oh, hang on.
We're here. Yes.
Oh, hey, I finally fixed it.
Huzzah.
It might be picking up from my camera, though.
Oh, well, that's fine. I could fix it up mostly on post. Mostly.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the news, Paul Heyman, Eric Bischoff are going to be running, Raw and SmackDown. I have my little worries about, it's just being retreads again. Like, okay, they can't do anything new. They had to bring guys who are like, it's the night, like things 20 plus years ago. You're like,
so basically the same old.
Yes, and it seems like what worked back then might not work now. That sort of thing.
Well, especially since we've seen Bischoff in a position of power recently too. Don't forget, during TNA's probably darkest times, he was the executive producer.
Exactly. It just gets to, and as much as craziness that we see with Paul Heyman, I mean, he has his flaws as well. I mean, some of his shocking stuff might, scary away some of the younger or some people who like the PG audience and such, which I honestly don't think the PG era is not going PG is not the be all end all. You can do a good PG promotion. WWE can do that. Heck,
well, the fact that Chikara exists proves this statement. I mean, they are as PG as you can get. Like I remember there's a story. Kevin Owens got banned from that promotion because he dropped an F-bomb.
Exactly. You can be successful in this. And to me, that's frustrating because WWE is that you can be that family-friendly arena and such. Because, again, I look at what do people love, and such, and everything else. The superhero movies and such. And believe me, I'll get into one other superhero movie that seems to be running towards a dumpster fire. But, I'll get to that later. DC, you look at, say, look, the Avengers and such, the stuff about, Captain America, Aquaman, Shazam. I mean, I'm like, what? I mean, I look at stuff like that, and I'm like, I can't believe WWE can't put stuff like this on. Vince McMahon says, oh, we're WWE, we make movies, and I'm like, your movies are terrible.
Oculus wasn't bad.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but then again, that didn't have the stellar 5-star acting chops of when The Miz is considered your most successful actor, wrestler turned actor to work in a WWE Studios produced movie. I like The Miz. He's actually not that bad an actor. I will give him that, but that's saying something.
Yeah, but it is but you understand what I'm saying is that you have the opportunity to just have these like grandiose, like a PG version of like Lucha Underground, and I'm like, they have the technology, they have their own universe. They keep saying WWE Universe, and yet they don't really use it. I know they're using it now, having people in the locker rooms interact with each other, which I like. It's something that has been lacking for I don't know why, after the Attitude or the Ruthless Aggression era or something like that. It seems like in the new era, guys barely talk to each other. Only time they talk to each other is on social media, and you see all this stuff. I'm like, it'd be great. You could put this on the show, and people will like this. Like, wow, hey, this is interesting. That sort of thing. And then I look at, for example, what we had this past Monday night, which is, oh boy. You had a great last man standing match with, I think, Lashley and Strowman, which pretty much killed off their set.
Yeah, they pretty much went full Jericho and Rhino on that one.
I bet you that there's like, Rowdy C said, they're gonna have a new set. I'm like, I don't trust WWE to. That set has been destroyed multiple times, and they're gonna come right back with the set with their regular set or something. If it was that sort of thing, because another issue is WWE is just, I don't think Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are going to change the static type of movements and production they have. That is another issue, because it's just the same stuff. It's like this, they zoom in and make people. I mean, most.
That's because they got a beaver running in the production truck.
Oh gosh, it is.
I'm sorry, that's very smarky of me to say, but I have my moments.
I know we do, but it's frustrating to have that same zoom in, zoom out, slow mo. I'm like, that thing was passe when back in 2010, and you're still doing it 9 years later. It's not even close to doing a throwback, and that's another issue, which I think that these two are going to have to struggle with, is production. And not only that, like I said, some of those storylines will probably push some people away. Maria Kanellis and Mike Kanellis and such, which is, eesh.
Yeah, that one.
I never seen.
That was a Heyman line. That had to have been a Heyman line.
I never seen a WWE superstar get buried like that since Bart Gunn.
Ooh.
But it seems like that is a name.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of the Attitude Era. Even I know how bad Bart Gunn got buried.
Yeah, and I watched it, and I blocked that from my mind and such. Like other things in wrestling and such. Like the time I saw WrestleMania 27 live with Cole and King, I blocked that totally out of my mind. Even though I have a signed, pretty much an autograph on my wall with, for Michael Cole and Jack Swagger, because my life is just weird like that. But anyway, when I saw that segment, I'm like, okay, Maria Kanellis getting like props or saying, I pushed an 8-pound, like, is that how you get heel heat now? Pregnancy? Which is...
I think, well, you saw me tweeted this on Twitter. I was like, well, that is the second weirdest pregnancy announcement I've ever heard in the world of pro wrestling. The first was total nonstop deletion.
Yeah. And even worse, like I said on this, when I looked at the entire situation, I tweeted this on with Writer's Block. It said, yeah, that was the thing that happened. It said, and I said this, and I truly get it is just reminding me of David Flair and his fake pregnancy storyline with Stacy Keibler back in WCW 2000, which I'm like, are they sure they hired Paul Heyman or they got Vince Russo? Because at that point, when all that stuff is, I'm just that just it felt like it was just that shock value for the sake of shock value, and I'm
Well,
like,
I watched a bit of the original ECW when I was a kid. Scared the crap out of me because you got 8-year-old me sitting there watching. I think it was like Tommy Dreamer just like bleeding from the forehead. I'm like, Dad, why are we watching this?
oh, I watched that when I was probably like when it was like before they left from TNN. Watched it when I was like 14, and I was like, it was good. Some of it was interesting, but I was like, I was still on the it was 2000. I left WCW because the stupidity, and I was just full on WF. And I see what they were trying to do with the extreme stuff, but also with the wrestling and everything around it. But I just
this is
don't.
the same company that also the night they had Kurt Angle there did an angle where they crucified a man. So shock value stuff from Heyman ironically doesn't shock me all that much. Doesn't shock me they'd go that route.
Well, at least they're not. Hopefully, with the whole Maria Kanellis thing, hopefully they won't bring back Snitsky and have a fake baby pun into the audience and such. Which hopefully I won't get to that. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I just imagine anyone else listening to this and just like who say, "Wow, this seems interesting," and we just basically and like, "Wow, this wrestling stuff is," and we describe one of the storylines, and they're gonna like, I'm just gonna stay here and just look at other things because I worry because this shot of the arm of this Attitude Era, I'm like, you do realize that those fans have moved on. They're not gonna come back. They're not going to come back. And they probably are just going to be, these new fans probably don't want to see that shock humor. They don't. They probably don't. Maybe they do, but that's a niche. I mean, Lucha Underground proved that it's a niche. People will want to see that. But I don't think in this big audience and in this type of a media environment, this stuff with all these sponsors, I don't think WE can afford.
There's a lot of stuff that these niche fans are asking for that just you can't get away with now. Like I'm all for WWE trying to go for intergender wrestling, but here's the problem with it. The problem with intergender wrestling is even if you do it right, there is going to be that subset of people that are like, oh my God, this is promoting man-on-woman violence. This is horrible.
Oh yeah,
this is sexist.
I think I watched a bit of Impact Wrestling. They're doing a pretty interesting stuff there. Most of the show is pretty good.
Tessa and Sammy.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people have not. I've seen people say this is good, this is something interesting, but then I saw some tweets, which I know it's small, whatever, but you pretty much improved the point and saying I know it's heels, I know Tessa said agree, but it just seeing that is just like. It's not really going to be good enough to actually put on intergender wrestling. It's not going to help. It's just going to be like say I can't see a man beat up on a woman. It's just like it's just not right. That sort of thing. Then again, I don't know how wrestling has this icky moment, but yet when I see something like say Wonder Woman or the next film like say
Captain Marvel
or
Avengers Endgame, you have Thanos straight trying to headbutt her and then having to whack her with the Power Stone. Nobody batted an eye at that.
When you look at Star Wars and in situations, you see Rey or say all these other the female characters put in dire situations, and no one seems to be like, oh my gosh, we can't have that situation. But
it's like this. I think it's like the same thing of like people who dismiss wrestling because of its scripted nature, saying, "Oh, this is fake." They all know what it's gonna do, what's gonna happen. It's stupid, and yet in the same breath, they'll say, "Oh my God, I can't believe so and so died on Game of Thrones, or so and so died on The Walking Dead." It's a double standard.
Yeah, and that's the issue wrestling has to, that sort of thing. And it says right here for chat here, how Cyndi Lauper was pretty much responsible. I like Dylan. I love this guy who just came in here. It's like how Cyndi Lauper, of course, Hollywood stuff and people with music industry help build the myths. I mean, heck, the first WrestleMania had Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper, there helping making WrestleMania into pretty much a spectacle. But back to the point
was Muhammad Ali in the first WrestleMania as well?
Yeah, as a referee, I believe too. And that's but look back to those. But again, funny enough, you look into back to our main point of like seeing these two guys. I hope they do well, but I just think that bring back the Attitude Era, bring back all the stuff. I'm like, and I don't think you're gonna see that because personally, I mean, most of the Attitude Era, they have people with a lot of charisma and such, and I gotta say, most of the WWE stars don't really have that good. I mean, because honestly, I like Kofi and Samoa. That was their best promo on SmackDown. I really like the way they actually did that, and Kofi just pretty much saying he's not afraid of Samoa Joe. But when I look at, say, the Universal Champion Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, they say they're a couple, but they just don't radiate chemistry with me. They just don't radiate good chemistry with me at all. And Mike and Maria Kanellis. I mean, Mike Kanellis. I mean, the dude tries, but he looks like straight out of a creative wrestler who just seems like you just sit there and say, yeah, I'm not gonna put any personality or anything else into him. And then Ricochet, who is, wow. There's a reason why I think Prince Puma didn't really speak much in Lucha Underground. They had Konnan speak for him, and then you had Vampiro speak for him too. So, it just I like these the wrestlers and such, but these unless they take some acting classes or something, they don't have that type of charisma, which was the main thing that got people into the Attitude Era, is that charisma, the connection to the audience. And when I look at the main roster, is that we have a lot of good to great wrestlers, but I don't see any of them like have that charisma that actually can bring people to say, okay, I know this stuff is crazy, but I gotta follow. I'll follow you. Say, like, again, we'll go back to the superhero stuff. You look at the charisma of Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man and Tony Stark and such. Chris Evans with Captain America. Jason Momoa with Aquaman, and and this list goes on and on. Guys who have that charisma and that connection with the audience and say, you know what, this seems crazy. This seems like way out of my stuff, but you know what? I follow you here because the people here are interesting, and I hope they can do something because most of the people there have athletically they're great, but the charisma, that other part that makes wrestling is really lacking.
I feel like that's a very subjective view in this case because personally, I think there are some guys who do have very decent mic skills. I think also, this may be me playing devil's advocate here, maybe it's not entirely on the superstars. Maybe a lot of it comes down to how much the promos are micromanaged. Could be that as well.
That's Vince too, so I think that's another issue that these two are going to have to those two, Eric Bischoff and Heyman, because Heyman was doing ECW back in 2006. That's why he left, because he's like, at the end of the day, guess what? He says, I can't say screw you to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon at the end of the day says the yes and no. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the day. They can have some greatest ideas, but if Vince says no, well, that's it. And combined to that with all the stuff with AEW, which they supposedly are so scared of, which to me, they shouldn't even be scared because they don't. I mean, AEW doesn't have a show yet. They don't have any. They don't have the weekly TV show is not there yet, and they don't have a champion or whatever. I don't think they should be panicking and such. They have right away the Saudi blood money and everything. They have their Fox money and everything. And the XFL seems to be, will look
plus
like
the network.
Yes, and the network. They should not be so terrified unless they realize their foundation is just really rickety. And they feel like, oh, crap, we need to do something. or we're going to be left in the dustbin. And I'm like, if you felt that this was so much of a worry and so much of a fit, why didn't you fix this stuff earlier? You see the problems here. You saw what happened and such. Why don't they do something to actually get people who are, make sure the people who, make it like a completely, a can't miss show. And I know before I wrap all this up, and I think even Paul Heyman will probably request this. They need to cut that show down to 2 hours again. Yeah. They need to. I don't care how great it is. No one will watch it 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's just I'm sorry. I mean, you look at the entertainment right now. I mean, you look at you say, well, what about Avengers Endgame? Endgame was a finale. It was a pretty much we're done. See y'all later. We're gonna move on and such. It was a build up to an end of a story. You say, well, what about football? Football and baseball and sports games and such. They don't. Sometimes they go for 3 hours, but it's a rare and such occurrence and everything. And besides the fact it's local teams or people like that, they're more invested with these stars and seeing how this thing can come out with and such. People have more connection to sports than what the WWE has. And quite honestly, to tell people to go and watch a show for 3 hours, like for 52 weeks a year, is to me.
That's just one show. Don't forget, they've also got 2 hours of SmackDown. They've got an hour of NXT, an hour of NXT UK. They've got main event, and we're not even counting the monthly pay-per-views, which can be up to 205
Live, by the way. 205 Live, which supposedly is going to end. Which I'm like, I won't even be mad at, because I'm like, you that show is completely irrelevant, because when you have your cruiserweight like Finn Balor, and I may like or everything else, you could agree that he is a cruiserweight. He weighs under 205 pounds, but he is fighting in the main event and such. He won the Universal Championship. He is the Intercontinental Champion. He has, he is a main eventer. I'm like, why is he not on 205 Live?
I think if they handled it like how New Japan handles their junior heavyweight division, where you have an option to graduate out, which, yeah, I know Ali and Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy technically got brought over to Raw and SmackDown, but they're doing nothing with them.
They're doing something. They're chasing R-Truth around and for the Truth 24/7 Championship. And I sit here and I look at Cedric Alexander. I was like, I really liked him so much. He seemed to be someone I really, was like, man, this guy's gonna be really good. And they give him some, because he does have that charisma. Heck, I saw that heel turn he did in Ring of Honor. I thought they're good. I think he showed some good charisma there. And I'm like, WWE can bring that out. And what did he do? He just sits and just runs around. And the fact he actually expanded this on Twitter saying, people, I am a good wrestler. I am. Trust me. You don't need to look. I am. And he's just begging.
Well, he's the champion of main event.
Yeah. But yeah,
I like Cedric. I really do. I still go back and watch his match with Ibushi from the Cruiserweight Classic, because that was one of my favorite matches I've ever seen from WWE.
And yeah, and also one thing I really liked about just seeing that stuff, and I'm like, but then again, I can talk about the downfall of Ring of Honor for a long while, but I'll get to that eventually, but probably next week. I don't know, but yeah, he was, to me, should have been a Ring of Honor World Champion and such. He should have been that, because I thought he was talented enough to do so. But yeah, he never seemed to get that opportunity. And when I looked at him and he finally won that Cruiserweight Championship, I was like, this is good. I hope at WrestleMania pre-show, I enjoyed it. I liked it. But man, I think he is just another warm body on Raw.
I think a lot of it comes down to a lot of these guys, by the time they get to WWE, it's just like, we're making money now. And a lot of it probably has to do with the schedule. Like, I remember you saying Nakamura versus Styles at Mania was not nearly as good as everyone was clamoring it was going to be. And I do tend to agree, because, don't forget, these guys are on the road 300 days a year. They can't go as hard as they went in New Japan. Otherwise, they're not gonna last. Look at I'm trying to think. There was someone who's just gotten injured again that I can't remember who, but it might be Alexa Bliss that I'm thinking of. But she's had how many injuries in the last year?
Yeah, she keeps going too hard, and that's another issue that I think Chris or Rowdy C actually talked about this about wrestlers going so like they're doing all this other stuff like they shouldn't.
I think he was talking about AEW.
Yeah,
because it was about the chair shot with
I
Sean
saw
Spears
that.
and Cody Rhodes.
Which I don't know why they did that. That was stupid. But I think to get to the point, he said these wrestlers have been they go all out and they don't have the schedule is not good for that. And they need to just say, I look at someone like doing these like suicide dives. Like, why are you doing suicide dives?
The fact that Big E still does that suicide dive, like that's gonna really mess him up one day.
Exactly. He should, dude is big, strong, and he's like, he could do that nice splash, which I think should have been, that's a better finish than a big ending. But I'd say that. But I'm like, this, you should not. If you wouldn't listen to me or something like that. But I think part of it is, most of it is on the fans. Like, we want these things. Like, I just look back and I'm like, watch the old stuff, man. I just remember it just used to be people just got so happy seeing like body slams, power slams, clotheslines, and it seems like we just we wanted more and more, and then if we did just sell just straight wrestling or something like that, it's just like it becomes boring, and I'm like, man,
I would disagree. If you've got the right people doing it, like I find Zack Sabre Jr. one of the most boring wrestlers in the world. But his match with Jonathan Gresham at Final Battle last year was probably my favorite match on that show.
Same here. I thought it was
wrestling.
Yeah, I saw his match at G1 Supercard. I thought it was really good, and I thought that was a really good match. And I was like, man, this is something I wish people have watch that stuff, and like the way of connecting with the audience and having that type of way of the style and everything, and just have that nice little more safer style. I don't, than technical stuff than just having doing flips and kicks and all this stuff, which I have no problem with. Wrestling needs a little bit of that type of diversity and such, but I think, less is more. You don't need to, if you keep doing that type of stuff, it's going to hurt you in the long run and in the short run. You see someone like Sammy and such. I remember he had to work on both of his legs or something. He was like out for almost like 10 months because of his leg injury or something like that.
I think it was a shoulder injury.
Oh, both his shoulders.
Owens was out with a double knee injury.
Yeah, and you see, I'm like, dude, he's big. I mean, Owens, I think he's really good, that type of old school stuff here. But yeah, it's just, I think the wrestling needs to get pulled back a bit. Because I think that's something the wrestling fans, I think, did pretty much, the indie stuff hurt it. I think wrestling, really got hurt by seeing the Ring of Honor stuff and seeing that no sell, quick style and something like that, which I say it's fine, but I always say time and place, and hopefully when I look at these wrestlers and such, they, especially in WWE, do things, I wouldn't mind seeing more people have that 4 moves to do like John Cena does and such like that. I don't mind people, having that type of mindset. But I'm gonna wrap this up. I said I'm gonna wrap this like 5 minutes ago, and we kept talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got because I got gotta talk about this this Flash thing and such. Which, oh gosh, that's going to be a bit of a conversation and such. But thanks for coming in, Kira, and
no problem. Yeah. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
That's fine. I have a bit of technical stuff too, but it's again, it's nice talking to you. But yeah, you have the you have the final word about this Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff thing. Do you think it's gonna work or not work?
I honestly can't say because Heyman in the last year or so, I have not liked anything he's been attached to. And I'm not just talking about Lesnar. Apparently, he was working on Ronda's promos, and they were some of the worst in the company. I'm sorry. It might be partially because I'm not really a fan of Ronda Rousey, but which is weird because I remember I think one of the last times I was on this show, I was one of the first times I was on this show, I was saying like, oh, Ronda should be doing more acting and stuff, and I'm like now it's like, I don't want her anywhere near this.
I knew about when I watched her from I think Saturday Night Live. I was like, nah, she doesn't know, she's not that good, and
yeah, hindsight is definitely 2020.
Yeah,
but Bischoff, I am less than optimistic about him just because he is a spiteful bastard.
I think, and that's the thing is, Vince probably loves that too. So,
yeah.
All right. Anyway, man, I'll talk to you later. All right. Plug anything you want to plug, by the way.
I am going to be at Con Bravo at the end of July from the 20. I need to open up my calendar for a sec to remember this because from July 26th to the 28th in Hamilton, Ontario. I'm not running any panels, just going to be walking around working on a review, hopefully, that I can film there. I won't say anything, though. I think I might have mentioned it on my my pre-YetiCon stream a few weeks ago. Though I am admittedly having some writer's block problems with that. I'm going to try to force myself through that, basically. But I also do occasionally live tweet wrestling and stuff. If you want to see some really bad jokes and stuff, you can follow me at Kira Kennedy HNR.
All right. Thanks very much, man. I will hopefully see you later.
Yep.
And there it is. Boo, Weeka. Well, anyway, that was fun, but let's sit back. We're going to play some more songs from, I believe, let's play some more songs. How about some more of the, some more stuff here from OC Remix, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cell Shock. Go download the songs from OCRemix.com. They're great and they're awesome. We're going to listen to some stuff. How about let us listen to some, let's see, Star Turtles 2, The Wrath of Man, Starbase, Where No Turtle Has Gone Before, by the Snugglemen. These names are great. Anyway, we'll be right back right after this here live on the Dukect Lounge on TalkShoe.com. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're here, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me, Dukect. Thanks so much to Kira Kennedy for joining, and Donna R. and Crab. Thank you so much for sitting and listening to this nice little podcast and such. Anyway, let's talk about something that is not, that unlike this show, is not a trend. This thing right here looking to be just a completely, totally, oh Lord, what is going on here with the Flash movie? And once again, this DCEU movie, The Flash with Ezra Miller, has another director change again. And here's the thing: is a Hollywood Reporter reports that link here is from IO9 Gizmodo, and I was the article writer German Luster. Says the Hollywood Reporter says Andy Muschietti, I can't pronounce anything, but yeah, director of the It films, which a lot of people really like, is now to take helm a film which has a new script by Bumblebee and Birds of Prey writer Christina Hodson, which a lot of people like Bumblebee, but didn't do well in the box office. It got basically bitch slapped by Aquaman, which I just can't get over. Aquaman getting $1 billion. It's like something right out of like saying it's like it's like something right out of some weird thing. Like if I actually thought about one DC movie was going to hit $1 billion, I would say Superman, Batman, heck, even Wonder Woman. But Aquaman, but yeah, I haven't seen Bumblebee yet. I heard it's pretty good, but a lot of people are saying, oh well, this could be, like Shazam, which is Shazam bomb. Shazam didn't bomb. It made its money back. And they're doing a sequel, and honestly, it's going to make some money back in the DVDs, which, by the way, I'm going to pick up that DVD because it just seems great to put on that Blu-ray because it's so good. Gosh, I'm going to buy that DVD because it's fun. But yeah, Flash is like, but yeah, the Christina Hudson's takes place, booting Ezra Miller and Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison and Ezra Miller are booted out of the writer's chair. So this is interesting because Miller wanted to tell a darker Flash story, and this was a script earlier. But what is this? And the thing is, the people who did Game Night and the people also John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, the two directors who directed Game Night, who also believe it or not did Spider-Man, I believe, Homecoming. The writers, the co-creators of, I believe, the writers were starring Homecoming, which I have to say, I did not like. I did not. I mean, it was mediocre at best. So, I mean, a lot of people love Homecoming, but I don't know. I thought it was just okay. And let's see, who was the writer for Chris McKenna? I heard Spider-Man. He was director of Spider-Man Far From Home is John Watts. So maybe because he co-wrote the horror film Clown. So it seems like the best films such I think it was a Clown. I think he wrote co-wrote the horror film, directed and co-wrote the horror film Clown right back. I believe it was 2000 and like made in back in 2014. So maybe horror directors equal big success in comic book, which I don't know why. I legitimately don't know why. But back to the point. It seems that the main reason why the directors had a issue is because it had tone. It is because of the tone of the film. Is that Daly and Goldstein wanted more playful, something else, like wanted to have a lot more fun, but Miller wanted something darker. But with them out, and this is in the article, but with them out and the script gone, the studio brings in Muschienti, a rising horror master, and it looks like it might be darker. But again, this seems to be the horror. It seems like DCEU is going to have horror directors making their superhero films, and more often than not, it's been really good. And this could finally have this whole maybe you'll finally make this thing done. And not only that, Birds of Prey, and we could finally have a really good movie. But gosh, Flash. They were really hoping Justice League he was going to be the breakout star, not Aquaman. But the dude, the way he runs, he need to fix that running thing because he looks gosh, he looks terrible running. I would not be mad if they just recast him, Ezra Miller. I think at this point it's Recast Ezra Miller with someone who's younger, more interesting. I don't know who else can play the Flash at this point, but I don't know. I really don't know what they can do with this character and that suit. I don't know. Just But maybe this will actually be a little bit darker. But maybe the sign of darkness that Shazam had. My hope is that that type of darkness, which is in the film, same with Aquaman and Shazam, is that it's in the film but it doesn't dominate in the film. And Miller and the Flash can be that hopeful spark. Like I want it to be dark, but it can be like, say, for example, how Daredevil was. I know people say, "Oh, why are you putting Daredevil in the same thing?" No. No. I'm saying Daredevil had that jovial and positive and a positive energy and such. And he was dark, but at the end of the day, he believed that he is doing like he is. He was a very positive and a very positive person. He did horrible things, but he was a very good person. Dark things around him, but he wasn't that gritty, horrible human being. That sort of thing. That is what I that's what I was want to put into of this when I look at this movies and such like that. Why? And I want to see the Flash do that, and I just hope that this movie actually gets done. And I haven't heard any much of Birds of Prey, which I gotta see when well, hopefully it'll be better than a TV series. You haven't heard any, and it's gonna be released in February, which okay. I don't know, and it's some people saying it's quirky but in a fun way. Supposedly, it's, that sort of thing. Early things people say they really like it. I hope that it's good. Budget is low, 75 million, so that could be really good. But February 7th, I'm like, it's right there in that early, that sort of thing. Hopefully, we'll hear something. Hopefully, we'll hear some trailer stuff and stuff about this soon to really see how Christina Hudson and Kathy Yan are going to really bring that thing to life. And if this has good momentum and such, here's hoping that there's going to be more. The DCEU continue to have that momentum. That's why I want to see some momentum, that momentum. Some good momentum in the DCEU, and hopefully maybe we'll finally get a good Superman movie. Oh, not good, but great. But that's just my personal opinion. But until then, I hope this Flash movie can come out, and hopefully they do a better. Maybe they can make Ezra Miller run a bit better. Here's the hope. Well, anyway, that's the show, boys and girls. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and all that stuff. Remember, the show will be on YouTube, youtube.com/DukecT, also on manexpression.com, and on freakingawesomenetwork.com as well, and on BitChute as well. Thank you so much for watching. This is Dukect here. Peace and love. I'll see y'all when I see y'all later.